you seen this video?
Now, here's an important question. How to know whether it's actually God you're talking to or whether you're just making it up when you're having a conversation and writing with God? Well, it's a great question. So here's what you need to do. When you write your question to God, for instance, God, what are you saying about my bank balance? You write that out. And then you might write, well, you write the beginning of God's answer, even though you know he hasn't said this, but you're just writing a sentence for him to speak into. So you might write, Catherine, what I'm saying about your that question about your bank balance, say, is. And then you begin to write, expecting God to give you the words as you do. Now, when you finish writing, you're going to think, there's no way that was God. I'm just making that up, because there'll be so much detail and you'll have never heard that much detail from God. And you've taught yourself that because you've got, you're sinful or whatever, you can't hear God. So what you need to do at that point, this is a conversation, remember, is you need to, having said that, you need to ask the question, God, well, I just don't think it's you. I think I'm making this up. And that's testing the spirits. You got to ask that. So you write that down, and then you begin to write, expecting God to give you the words as you do. And once you've done that, second time, I'm sure that you're still going to think, I don't know, I just think I'm making this up. How can this possibly be God? So write that, God, I think I'm making that up. How can this possibly be you? And then start writing, expecting God to give you the words as you do. Now, here's the interesting question. How important is it to you that you can hear God's voice in a back and forth conversation like he spoke with the Bible heroes, whose lives were no better than your own? If it's important, you are going to take whatever time it takes. So you might write out God's answer, expecting him to give you the words as you do, and then you might question that. You might be doing that for half an hour because you are learning to hear the voice of God. And if it's important to you, then you'll keep doing that. But I can tell you that it will completely change your life. How could it not? Having a backwards and forwards conversation with the God that until now you've heard the odd nudge and the odd word from, who wants to speak more. The Bible says the heavens pour forth speech. Job makes it clear, the book of Job makes it clear that God speaks to us all the time, but we don't actually realize he's speaking. So this is a way to hear God and discern what he's saying to you. Give it a go. It can't hurt you, and it will benefit your life. Everything will change.